if I'm on live and I feel stuck, I'm like, all right, I'm about to, excuse my language, like I'm about to shit my pants. I have to leave. Pop culture is very pretty. It's about getting past these things. It's about how you overcame it. Myself and a lot of other people are constantly working through it. And so I think not hiding that is one of the reasons why a lot of people connect with me.
There's a version of professionalism that asks people to really disappear, not fully, but just enough to be acceptable. We can never be too loud, we can never be too queer, never too political, never too emotional, never too visible, never too much. And online, that pressure gets even stronger because your identity becomes part of your resume. It's part of your brand, part of the way that you make money. And so today's conversation is not really about social media. It's about performance. It's about the performance of likability, the performance of safety, the performance of professionalism. Now, if you've been following me for a little while, you know that I have a long soapbox about professionalism and how it doesn't really exist, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the costs creatively, emotionally, psychologically when we try to really edit ourselves into every little tiny box that we are. Today, I'm joined by Aysia Mitchell, a Dallas-based filmmaker and content creator whose work lives at the intersection of pop culture, fashion, gaming, queerness, humor, and a social commentary, and of course, the WNBA. I appreciate most about your work is that it feels so human. Like I feel your
Yeah.
personality coming off of the screen. And there's a
Yeah.
curiosity, there's a nuance, but I know that that is intentional and it's not accidental. And
Yeah.
in this digital world where so many people want to become marketable before they're honest, you really remind me that connection really still matters. So
Yeah.
welcome to the pod. I'm so excited to talk with you. Is there
Thanks for
anything
having me.
that I left out?
No,
Okay.
if you did, I don't even know. So
I
you
love
you
it.
hit all the markers there.
I love that. So let's get into it. Let's kind
Yeah.
of talk about you. I stumbled across you just on TikTok as I do.
Yeah.
And for those who've listened to season 1 and season 2, that's how me and Ciara actually met. So I find my best friends on TikTok.
Nice. Yeah,
So
I've got a lot of TikTok friends that
yeah,
have known now for, like, years, so
isn't
yeah.
it crazy how it's like you're through the screen, but there's something about that platform that makes it, like,
Yeah.
people more approachable, which I kinda love.
Yeah.
But, like, how did you arrive at this version of you?
You know what's funny? Maybe until, like, 2024, I didn't even cuss on social media. I would, or if I did, I would bleep it or censor it. I grew up, like, as an athlete, I played soccer and basketball and volleyball, so whatever I was doing was kind of, with the mindset of the coach is watching you. So don't cuss on social media, don't post anything that you're gonna regret, X, Y, and Z.
Do you ever feel like this pressure to be more palatable or more PG to, like, be more marketable?
Um, yes, I think about it. Uh, Also just as a black woman, like, we have it's kind of hard for us, to be online and to just be ourselves because a lot of times even the apps can be against us aside from just like the people. So I do think about marketability and what that means for my videos, but then I will set my phone up and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't really care. I would say when I became more loose in how I was making videos was when more people started to notice. So yeah, it's kind of a push and pull thing. I think about it, but then I just do what I do.
So much honesty there. How did you come to be someone who creates content on social media? Some people have it because they wanna build a business, some people have
Yeah.
a message that they wanna get across, like, what is your origin story?
Yeah, I just like making videos. If you scroll like way back on my Instagram or my old Twitter, wherever that is, I got suspended for 4 years because of copyright.
No.
And then I got it back when Elon took over because they just were handing people back
Yes,
their
sir.
accounts.
Yeah.
And I was just like, please, you're back. I'm like, "Ugh, I don't fuck. It was really just like a natural progression. In high school, I took like an audio and video class, and I was like, "Oh, I really do like this." So it came from just like kind of just like a hobby to something that I saw myself doing as a career in filmmaking. I would make videos and post it on like Instagram, just for like my friends. And then as I got older, I was posting things on Twitter for like the fandoms that I loved. So it's always been a really natural thing. It was I think people think that I post for, kinda to get famous or to become known, but I really just like making videos. I have, like, 2,000 videos, and so it's easy to make content when you're also a filmmaker because even though I may just have one angle here, but you know how to tell a story, you can kinda translate that over, and if I do make more cinematic videos, then it's easy for me to edit and do these things, but I really just like making videos. I never really had the intention of becoming famous or being known with it, and the way that my account is shadow banned, if I did, I probably would've quit a long time ago.
I think that's so
Yeah,
interesting. Like, there's just and that comes across in your videos of like you're just
yeah,
having fun and enjoying
yeah,
it, and it just works for you. And I just think
yeah,
that so many people need to lean into not just the storytelling aspect of things. How do you tell a good story? What do you say? What is the prep that you need behind that? But
yeah,
also, just not take it so seriously. I think we're so
yeah,
into finding the clicks and getting the likes and all that stuff.
yeah,
And you really have built your platform off of your personality and just kind of having fun with it. And I think that's beautiful. That's amazing. Congratulations.
yeah, it's thank you. It's really interesting, like, being the brand. My friends have started calling me Asia Inc. They'll be like, "Hi, Asia Incorporated." They'll do things like that. So, I really have become the brand myself, which is really interesting. But even then, I think a lot of people have trouble separating themselves from the content that they make. And I really don't because it's because of, like, the whole being more authentic. I think people are able to tell that I'm really just somebody who kind of just loves being silly online.
Yeah. When was that moment when you were like, oh, this is working?
I would say probably in 2024 was when I got, like, my first, like, big viral video, and I
Hmm.
had been making TikTok since 2018 when it became TikTok for Musical.ly. I would say in 2024, I was posting a lot of silly videos, and it was the people who were liking it, like, that no one saw. Like, a lot of times, there would be random celebrities that would like the videos, and I'm like, "What you doing here? How
Like,
did you get here?"
how'd you do it?
You never know who's watching. I'm like, "Oh, people are seeing the videos." It's just, like, they're not necessarily blowing up how people would imagine or want, but I don't really care. Like, if people are seeing them, that's good enough for me. Yeah.
Your strategy is just have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about, like, life off camera that makes
Mhm.
that possible? Because I'm not even gonna hold
Yeah.
you. Like, I think I came to you from a Renee Rapp, like, fan video,
Yeah.
of course, because
Yeah. They're a lot. I do a lot in that kitchen.
and I was just like, "Oh my gosh," like, I feel and even in my own, like, queer journey and, like, just being
Mhm.
able to watch folks that are younger than me be
Yeah.
authentic in their, like, fandom, I just
Yeah.
top notch. So I was and so I saw you,
Yeah.
and we were at a networking film event, and I was like my coworker that I was with, she was like, "Oh, yeah, like, we should go talk to them because there's only a few Black folks in the room." And I was like, "I know
Yeah.
who she is, like, this is gonna be a
Yeah.
parasocial thing." But then I sat down with you and I was like, "Oh, you really are, like, a filmmaker," and I
Yeah.
was thinking you're just here because, like, whatever, and you're like, "No, I
Yeah.
really make films." So, let's talk about
Yeah.
your life outside of, you know,
Yeah.
the TikToks. Like, who are you? Like, tell me about your background a little bit more.
Yeah, so I originally went to school for computer science, which is interesting, which I went to school in Florida at Stetson University, which is a private school in, like, Central Florida, and then when COVID hit, I came back to Texas and I switched to film because I originally wanted to go to school for computer science as my major in, like, a film or something in that area as my minor, but they didn't offer it there, so I was like, "Oh, it sucks." But then COVID hit, and I was like, "I'm gonna make the switch."
A lot of folks, don't realize how much, of it is technical and,
Yeah,
lighting and the computers behind it, especially with, like,
yeah,
CGI and AI and all these things that are there.
yeah.
A lot of folks don't realize how that works.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times you kinda hear this conversation of whether or not film school is worth it for because you can learn everything on YouTube University. But I say that my time in film school was a lot of learning those technicalities
Mhm.
and kind of being able to network, and the biggest thing, and I'll say if you really want to go to school for college and film, is you'll have access to a lot of equipment that you probably wouldn't be able to have access to. on your own, especially if you're first starting out. So I would say outside of TikTok, I haven't done as much film as I'd like recently, but it's also because I'm, like, pretty chronically ill, and that goes back to 2024. One of the reasons why I started posting, like, as much as I do, is because in 2024, I kind of was getting back to back, hit with, like, different random illnesses.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing? Is that
Oh,
okay?
yeah, I talk about it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I graduated in December 2023, was planning on taking a break for, like, 2 months, like, a month or 2, just because I was in AP classes, honors classes, went to school, graduated with honors. So it was like school, school, school for the whole time. And then I graduated, immediately got sick the day that I graduated because my body finally decompressed. And so I was like, "Okay, cool." Then January, I got hit with COVID, and I have, like, long COVID symptoms. February, my upper back so, like, I, like, couldn't walk for a week because I have pinched nerves and like, bulging disc between my shoulders. March, I had knee surgery because I had a torn meniscus, and this is 2024. April and May, I had, like, a weird, like, skin issue that I still don't know what happened. They're like, "It's eczema." I'm like, "This is not eczema. It feels like I'm rolling in glass." And then June came, and I just, like, developed some weird gastrointestinal illness. I still don't know what that is. And so for most of 2024, I was kinda just, like, in my apartment sick. And so with that, I always find somewhere to film my TikToks. So when that was happening, I was always filming in my bathroom. And so a lot of people know me because I always filmed in my bathroom. So the bathroom and, like, whatever spot I'm in kind of becomes, like, where people grow, to know me. So some people know me as, like, being in my bathroom at that apartment. Some people know me from my kitchen. So chronic illness kind of pushed me to post more, and so I was going from posting maybe a few times a day or a few times a week to posting, like, 10 videos a day, which is kinda crazy. But I
Okay.
didn't have anything else to do. Alright.
Did you did you find it to be, like, a good release for, like, your because
Yeah,
I live with chronic illness also, and I find writing is such a cathartic thing
yeah.
about getting things out, so
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. With the whole film thing, I was like, I can't be on a set for 12 hours a day because I don't know if my body's just gonna shut down on me. And I'm still kind of like that today, but now I'm so used to it. But in
yeah,
2024, it was like so much back to back that I was like, I'm cooped up in my apartment, like I can't do anything. So I was just making TikToks, and I love going live on TikTok. So I talk to people all the time on there. So it was like I'm not necessarily doing like the grandiose filmmaking things, but I have my phone and I know angles and I can film a video that is more cinematic if I wanted to. So I was kind of just able to put that creative energy into something, even if it was me in my bathroom jumping on the counter. So yeah, it was a good yeah, a good release
yeah.
there.
So you mentioned a little bit about, like, just art in general, and we
Yeah,
talked before the show about, it being something that, like, reflects you as a creator.
you're
How
good.
does your chronic illness, impact your storytelling?
Honestly, I would say it impacts me in kind of the way that I am the things that I'm able to do, because you
Yeah.
see me online, I'm doing a lot of, like, dancing and throwing myself around, and you would think that I'm, like, completely fine, but the second I turn off the camera, I'm like, "Alright, we're good, we're done." So there is kind of a lot of, like, taking breaks for my body to recalibrate, but even then, I think, like I mentioned before, as an athlete, I'm used to pushing my body a little bit. So yeah, I don't know, I think what I've written film-wise, though, a lot of times there are people who are neurodivergent or they have some type of a physical ailment. Like, I wrote a feature-length film, and the main character deals with, some chronic illness and disability that both myself and one of my best friends, suffers from. So, I kinda incorporate that into the characters that I'm creating, and I'll talk about it in my videos, and a lot of people know me. It's kind of a joke because I joke about it all the time, but they're like, "You have more issues every time I see you, you talk about a new issue."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have Crohn's disease, so I
Oh,
totally
yeah.
like I think there's something that we underestimate with the amount
Mm,
of Black women specifically who have autoimmune disorder.
yeah.
My former co-host, Ciara, has autoimmune disorder. Like I can't name you one Black woman who does not have some sort of autoimmune
Yeah.
illness.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about using your art in a way that's not just an escape for you, but is able to tell your story in a political kind of way, because that's not something that pop culture really
Yeah.
like, "Hey, let's talk
It's
about
very
that
it's
issue."
very pretty. It's
Yeah,
very pretty
like,
over there.
and it's usually the story of, "How did I overcome this thing?" Right?
Yeah.
I think one of the beautiful things about having, like, a space where we can be in the story with the creator, whether that be on
Yeah.
TikTok or here on this podcast, is we get to kinda, like, in the ugly, messy, but also the the being able to joke about it. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Like you mentioned, like, pop culture is very pretty. It's about getting past these things. It's about how you overcame it, and I myself and a lot of other people are constantly working through it, and so I think not hiding that is one of the reasons why a lot of people connect with me, 'cause I have people that, kind of I've known on TikTok for years, or they've been around for a little bit now, and they'll come in and we'll just talk about our chronic illnesses, and we'll talk about things. Because I also have PCOS, and that just got renamed to
Yeah,
PMOS, which is
and
great. Yeah, polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome, which is an entirely it's its own monster because there's no research behind it, there's no, like they don't know any treatment for it, they just kind of throw things at you and say, "Hope it works," and it doesn't. So, hopefully, with the name change there, that there's actually some research. But, yeah, I think with creativity, you don't necessarily have to hide the things that aren't pretty, and if since, we're both kind of in the film scene, filmmaking itself is not pretty at all. It's a very grueling thing, like, it is technically considered a trade because it's very specialized and you're working 12-hour days and, people like you're air conditioned most of the time, like, Man, I've been on some insane sets. I've climbed mountains, like, I don't
yeah, like, you go
but
up
yeah,
there, you do all these things. I think it is
yeah,
interesting. People are like, "Oh, like, making your videos, it's so
yeah,
easy," and or being on s
yeah,
it's not, it's
no. It's
exhausting, and
it's
it's a lot
it's
of hurry up
very
and
cutthroat.
it's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah,
Like, set all
yeah,
this up, and then you gotta wait for the right shot or the
yeah.
right
Yeah, and as somebody who's chronically ill, it's very interesting being on set with people who aren't, because
Mhm,
it's like you're able to stand for 12 hours, and a lot of times I do have ADHD, so I'm just listing all my illnesses as we go. I'm kinda on set, and so when I'm on set, my brain goes into, like, hyper focus, and so I can't just push through it. 2023, I helped film a music video for a queer country artist, out in Dallas named Cameron Ross, and we had a bunch of drag queens on the set. We had, Alyssa Edwards in the music video as well, and I was the key PA, which I was basically in charge of all the PAs on set and also kind of in charge of making sure that the talent was fine. And so I was, like, running around the entire day, and my friends were like, "Hey, just sit down." I was like, "I can't. If I stop, I will not be able to get back up." So it was a 15-hour shoot, and I think we started at 10 AM, and I don't think I stopped or sat down until, like, 3 PM. So it's like and then but my friends think they don't have as many issues as me. If they do, it's, like, not necessarily physical.
mhm,
So they're fine, and I'm like, "My back I'm not gonna be able to walk for a week," and I also still needed knee surgery, so I truly could not walk for a week after that set, and I'm like,
yeah,
"Yay, I love this."
yeah.
But yeah.
I'm right
Yeah,
there
you just
with
kinda
you,
go through it.
especially, like, as I've gotten older, listen,
Yeah.
my chronic illness issues are
Yeah.
less about the actual illness and more about, like, the secondary symptoms. So, like, joint pain is like, you turn 40, your body starts to deteriorate and, that comes
Yeah.
anyway, but mine is, like, still kinda like, Even my kids
Yeah.
sometimes will be like, "Was that your arm?" And it's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He's like, "Mama, that is not normal." I know, but your mama
Yeah.
has friends, so that's just the way it is. Yeah.
It's
But I
really
think it's this thing
interesting.
too, like, where
Yeah.
it's this thing of and it goes back to, visibility or even,
Mhm.
accessibility of
Mhm.
we're supposed to work as if those things don't impact us.
Yeah.
But I think you're really giving voice to people who have these challenges and I don't wanna say issues, but just challenges in their day to day
Yeah.
that other folks just are not able to do, and you do it with such, like you make it cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the funniest conversations that I have with people and that I have regularly is they'll speak to me or they'll see me, and then I bring up the fact that I have this issue and this issue, and they're like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, girl." you stick around for like 30 minutes and I will give you a list. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of so used to the stigma around different illnesses or disabilities that when they see someone who is very open about it, it kind of takes them aback. And I'm like, you can talk about stuff like that here. You can I honestly with all my issues and my dad's also a paramedic. So I'm like, I could maybe give you some tips to how to alleviate some of the pain, some of the pressure. But yeah, I don't know. I think especially in the last few years or so, it's been really interesting seeing different known people open up about having certain illnesses. Because it is really proof that there is being progress in the destigmatization of chronic illness.
again, especially like Black women who are disproportionately impacted by that.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about burnout in general and like
Mm,
we can avoid it. How do you
yeah.
like stay motivated?
Great question. Honestly, I
Or
I
do you?
think
Like sometimes it's like honestly I don't. I just do it because I just keep going. And that's
yeah, honestly, that's kind of more so where I am. I don't put as much thought into what I'm doing in terms of preparing for it. If I'm posting something and I'm like, okay, cool. But if I'm not posting for a while, it's because I just don't feel like doing it. Like I've gotten to a point where I'm used to kind of pushing myself and doing things a lot um for the purpose of keeping up looks. But now I'm like, if I don't want to post, I just won't.
mm,
So you kinda just have to find that balance of, um, allowing yourself to recuperate, but also not necessarily giving into the whole pressure of TikTok and social media being like, if you take a day off, then all your followers are gonna leave and no one's gonna care that you're there, or like the with TikTok especially where they'll stop pushing your content out if you don't post 10 times a day. I'm like, "That's fine, I don't care." The people that are sticking around are gonna be there when if I take a day off or a week off, they'll just be like, "Hey, where'd you go?" And I'm like,
I was
"So,
busy.
I
Yeah.
was busy," or, like, not at all, I was asleep, like, I was in bed, girl, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that that's I don't know, we have an age difference, so, like, the whole
yeah,
idea I think a lot of folks that are my age are dealing with just this chronic burnout of, like, you
yeah,
always be on, you always have to be keep going,
yeah,
caring for younger folks, like,
yeah,
your children or caring for older folks, your parents. Like, there's
yeah,
all these, like, pressures and things that we're supposed to, like, be doing, and it's cool to hear you say, like, "I just don't."
yeah. And,
Like,
I will
and
say
giving people the
yeah, and I will say I am privileged in the fact that I'm kind of just right now I'm able to be living back with my parents. I'm 25, so I lived alone for 2 years and I lived with my sister for 2 years. Uh, and so it's life is very different when obviously when you're on your own or with even with your I was living with my sister, so that was still family. But being back home, especially with how shit the economy is, as far as burnout though, I do get burned out from TikTok, but like I mentioned, if TikTok is annoying me, if content creation is annoying me, or if I feel like I'm making videos, but they're not really like something that I really care for at the moment, I will just like stop. Because even right now, I'd say I'm in a period where I'm more so in a break, even though I still post like 3 times a day. But they're back in like 2025. I was probably posting 10 to 15 times a day, like, at peak, which and it like I mentioned before, I don't necessarily do put as much effort into my videos. I get comments, I'm like, "How do you think of this stuff?" And I'm like, "I really don't." Having ADHD and being, like, just a naturally creative mind, I kinda just, like, will have a thought, and then I film it.
I was just speaking with a friend and she's, working on a book and trying to
Yeah.
like and so she's really leaning into her Substack so she can, like, exercise the writing muscle, right?
Yeah.
And she sent me a thing and she was like, "I don't know, what do you think?" I was like, "Just post it."
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's about like, keep going and, like, putting it out there. I feel that even with my content, I'm like, "Ugh, gosh, I got so much going
Yeah.
on," and and being a parent and all this other kind of and I'm like, "You know what? Just make a video and make
Yeah.
don't overthink it." Just and that would be my encouragement to anybody who's burnt out. Take your rest and don't overthink it.
Yeah, and I will say it's probably different. It's like you mentioned, you have a niche. I don't necessarily have a niche. You mentioned like gaming, fashion, all that queerness and stuff. Those are things that are just very natural to me. Like they're just things that I just like, and I'll talk about anything. I also will talk about politics. But yeah, so I probably would think a bit more about it if I was more niched down. But as somebody who kind of just makes comedy content, I say that my niche is more so comedy rather than like a topic. If I had to pick, but that again, I'm just that's also just my personality. So it doesn't necessarily feel like work that I'm doing versus kind of just me doing something that is fun for me. So yeah.
Do you ever think of, like, what would happen when it stops being fun?
Yeah, I think about deleting my account every day. I think I think every day I'm like, I should get rid of it. Yeah, I think if if that were to happen anytime soon, it would kinda just be a matter of allowing myself that break and being like, "What has changed from now, like, right now to what it was before to make it not fun?" 'Cause I think with TikTok and everything that's happening with it and just content creation in general, you have a large saturation of people who want to be the next big thing. They wanna be this content creator, this influencer, which I also think is another thing where I don't see myself as an influencer. I barely see myself as a content creator.
I would see you more as, like, a filmmaker who makes short form content. Like, that
Yeah. Yeah.
is
Yeah. That's I think allowing myself that leniency and not necessarily, putting so much pressure onto what the label is also what allows me to kinda just post every day and not necessarily care about, um going back all the way to the beginning, kind of being PG or being, this thing that's marketable. Because the people that have found me and even the brands that I have spoken to, which hasn't been a lot, they're more aligned with my personality. Even if I'm not sure if you're aware of what's happening, but with, like, the national parks, TikToks are insane.
love.
They're crazy.
It is so
Like
unhinged. Listen, you are finish listening to this and then go to any of the national parks, the Glacier National,
yeah,
it's just the Redwood for like, they're and they
yeah.
it's like they're beefing back and forth. Like, what is
They're beefing. They're
yeah,
talking about how big their wood is. Like, there
yeah,
is
how
I
big
mean,
their wood is,
you
like,
hear my
you got
dogs?
big wood, but we're this wet, talking about, like,
Yeah.
like, what is like, is wild and
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's really interesting kind of seeing because I'm 25 and I'm, like, more so toward the beginning of Gen Z. 'Cause, I think the youngest Gen Z is, like, 2010, and so I'm like, "This is a completely different" like, I have friends that are 21, and I'm like, "Y'all are children, because 'cause we'll talk about different things. I'm like, "I'm a child," but we'll talk about things, and I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know what that is?" Because I also have a sister who was a '96 baby, and
Uh-huh.
so I grew up with everything '90s and 2000s because it
Yeah.
was kind of just, like, the turn of the century. I grew up on '90s television and '90s music and then also was born into social media, like, Gen Z is the first generation that is born with internet from jump.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting seeing this shift away from the rigid and strict marketing tactics that these, like, bigger companies have. Have you seen the Nutter Butter account?
No. Do I need to
The
go look
Nutter Butter account is insane. Like, if you in your free time, anybody listening, go to the Nutter Butter TikTok account. It makes you feel like you, like, did acid. Like, they're like, I don't know who they have in charge of the Nutter
that's what
Butter
I mean
account, but it's
of, like,
insane.
it's this whole idea of just not overthink I mean, but that is a strategy, not over people need to lean into that. I think, I'm not as, big of a voice on TikTok, but listen, my LinkedIn followers go hard. It's such a cliche to say, like a millennial thing to say, but I went viral on freaking
Yeah,
LinkedIn and ended up with a placement in the Washington Post because I was
yeah,
irritated by these women having this conversation that did not include Black women, and I literally
yeah,
was, "Y'all are missing the point. That is not the point."
yeah,
2 days later, I get a call from a reporter. Like, I
yeah,
didn't people like, "How did you even come up with that?" I was sitting in the gym watching my kid practice, and I was
yeah,
scrolling, and I got frustrated, and I just wrote something down and I closed my phone. I think not overthinking because the people that will find you are gonna find you
mhm,
and
yeah.
being honoring to who you are and your authentic self is that's the way
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah, like with like I mentioned before, like you truly never know who's watching. And when
Mm,
I was younger, that was something that was more negative, and it was
mm.
something where it was like, um don't post this because you're gonna lose these opportunities. Don't talk about this because you're not gonna be able to do X, Y, and Z because you're not it's not gonna to connect with what a brand or a coach or somebody is connecting with. But I'm like, you never know who's watching. And like now I've connected with some of my favorite music artists because they see me dancing in my kitchen being
I
silly.
saw your
Or
unboxing of Toa Bird's, album. I was like, "Ah."
yeah, like Interscope, like I have like a connected Interscope Records now because they were like, "We love your videos at Interscope," and I was like, "Who sent you?" But it's like I'm like, "First off, how'd you get my email?" But it's like that same thing, of, somebody is watching you at all times. It was negative, and it's kind of become a thing of like, yeah, they are. And the people that it works for, the people that, connect with that, the people that see my videos or see my content or see me, like, just chatting on live, and it resonates with them, they're like, "Hey, I have this thing for you. I have this connect for you. I have this event that I want you to go to." So, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we're coming up to the end of our time, so I always ask, what is one area of chaos that you're currently whispering to?
Well, that's a great question. Area of chaos. Honestly, I would say being someone who has, like, kind of suddenly come into a lot of publicity of my own, kind of the area of making connections with people. Because I have a friend that I've like my friendships, I have a friend that I've known since kindergarten, so that's like 20 almost 20 years now. I have a friend that I've been friends with for 10 years now, 5 years now, and times in between. But as someone who's kind of, suddenly in the public eye quite a bit, there's a lot of people that are approaching me and be like, "Hey, I want you know, how do I befriend you?" And I'm like, please back up. But not because I think, like, these people are annoying or I think that people are, they're I wouldn't connect with them. But it's because, like, I have social media and I have real life, and the people that I have in my life are that's where, like, my calm is at the
Mhm.
moment. So, I love making connections with people, but being able to separate kind of who I know on social media strictly versus the people that I'm actually talking to every day and I'm playing video games with and the people that I'm, spending hours out of my day with. I keep it's not necessarily a small circle, but it's a very close-knit group of people. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, man, making friends as an adult is challenging. It really is,
Yeah.
but it's totally worth it. I'd say my best, closest
Yeah.
that I've met in my 20s, honestly.
Yeah.
And even my 30s, like my best friend, we did not meet until I was like 32.
Yeah.
And because the things that the life that happens as you get older, you meet people with different skills. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we need a bad bitch that was in the army, that's what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I must say I like the people that I have in my life and some of them are people that I met online. So like I am meeting people from different walks of life and I have befriended people from different walks of life. But it's like I don't if I befriended every person who said that they wanted to be friends with me because they think that I'm funny, I'd be like this I'd be miserable. Cuz I
Yeah,
don't first off, I don't know you. Also, I think it's really interesting though cuz I understand where people come from when they say that they see my videos, and like we mentioned, like we've been talking about authenticity this entire time, and I think people aren't necessarily used to seeing someone as authentic as I am in my videos, so they think that they know me. I'm like, "Girl, I promise you know a bit about me." I'm like, I don't think people realize I really don't talk about myself in my videos as much." Like
really don't. Yeah,
I really like I used to talk more so about myself, but more it's kind of like I bring up a topic and I talk about it so you can kind of infer like the type of person that I am and like where my politics lie and things like that. I unless I like click with people immediately or it's like over time, like you saying that you want to be friends with me is like the first way to for it to not work. Like, oh, stop, back up.
but don't overthink it. It's just like your content. Don't
Yeah,
overthink it. Just accept the fact
no.
you're your friend.
And I
Don't have to
understand.
talk
I'm
about
like,
it, see where it goes.
hold on.
No.
Stranger danger.
Yeah, that's a
Also,
little.
I do think we need to have a re-up of, internet safety, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna hope that you find genuine, authentic, safe, not stranger danger friends.
Yeah, and, I've got my few
My
friends.
few crew.
My fruit crew. Yeah, I've got my friends, and then I do still connect with people, but it's very selective though,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, as it should be. Well,
yeah,
I enjoyed this conversation. You are a joy to
yeah.
watch, and, as someone who is a little older than you, I really do find inspiration in the content you create, and, like,
Thank you.
your performance as art, like, your creativity, and your editing and storytelling,
Mm,
and just being able to tell that you do put thought into it, but you don't overthink it is
yeah,
great. So,
yeah.
thank you for not over calculating what version of yourself feels safe.
I
I
try my best, I really do.
really do, and I appreciate it. So I think a lot of people listening are gonna get more from this than what they realize. So please, if you're listening and watching on YouTube, make sure you go back, bookmark, save, all the things. Joy and creativity and whispering to your chaos really does come from having a spirit of yourself, and not having to split yourself in half in order to survive.
Yeah.
And I think this episode gave us some language to be able to talk about that. So that's the exact kind of work that I do. Where can people find you? Like,
I'm Asia Inc. across all socials.
right, well, until next time, Asia Inc. Stop reacting and start interpreting. I love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, I had fun.
Thank you so much for listening. If this episode gave you language for something you've been carrying, I'm so glad. Remember that clarity is a skill, and it's one that you can build, but you got to build it in community. Let's go deeper together inside of the Patreon. You can find the link in the show notes. Be sure to turn on your notifications, like, subscribe, share, all the things. Leave me a comment. I really do read every single one of them. If something really stood out to you, I'd love to hear about it. If not, you can keep it to yourself. I appreciate the engagement though. Until next time,